Hello everyone, Fujifilm Colorist here. Today we're going to have a quick look at the Nikon Speedlight SB-24. It's a fairly basic speedlight. We're going to go over some functions, what it can do, what the buttons do, and where to mount it to. It's got a battery compartment. It takes 4 AA batteries. Now notice there's a switch inside the good battery compartment. Now if you want a metric change reading, so you can read in meters instead of feet, you can flick that switch to the left. You can have it switch to the right and it will read in feet. I prefer to have it in meters, so I'm going to flick the switch to the left. It should make a little click. And put some batteries in, positive up, positive down, positive up, positive down. Close the compartment. You know, go over some buttons. You can switch it on. You got instant red light. It tells you the flash is ready. And when it's off, it needs a recycle time. It's fairly compact. It does have a light sensor at the front. It does tilt as well. It can tilt 90 degrees up to 180 degrees, and it does swivel. Various different angles. It even rotates fully 360 degrees, so you can have the flash pointing behind you as well if you want to bounce the flash from the subject behind you. There's locking buttons in place, so you have to press the button to twist. Now there are 4 different modes here. You got the TTL, which is through the lens, and you got the strobe lighting mode, and you got manual and automatic. Non-TTL. I can go over the modes, the differences. We've got normal and rear button, so you can have the flash sinking at the end of the shot itself to create a tail light. If you've got fast moving subjects in the dark, you can create a kind of a light trail. And you've got those functions on the bottom here. You can change the aperture, so I would normally match the aperture to what you have on your camera body, so it does go to all the way up to f32, all the way down to f4.4. Now you can press the selection button and it will flash at ISO selection. You can go up to 6400, and you've got the option to go down all the way down to 6. So I would normally match the ISO to the film speed you're using. So I'm going to be loading this on a film camera, so I want to match the film speed. I'm going to leave it at 200, because most films are around 100 to 200. Now the M mode it's currently an M above the zoom, which tells you it's going to be manually selecting the focal length. There is a way to remove the M and have it automatically adjust to your focal length on the camera body if your camera supports that. The zoom button itself will change the focal length. On the full frame film cameras, I will just set it to the actual focal length on the lens. So from 24mm all the way to 85. You get 24, 28, 35, 50, 70 and 85. There's a backlit illumination button for if you want to read it in the dark. It's quite a handy feature. I don't use it often, it tends to drain battery. There is a standby mode. After 40 seconds of inactive use, it does switch off by itself, and it does reactivate when you press the shutter button on your camera. Hot shoe mount on the bottom, PC sync port. Yeah, fairly robust flash unit. We're going to see how it looks on a camera body, and how would you set the functions and settings based on your camera that you select. Because the modes are quite complicated, because you can use TTL, auto mode, non-TTL, manual, or a strobe setting. You do need to check the voltage of your output of the splash unit before you mount it on non-native cameras, such as a Fuji X-H1. Obviously the modern mounts take flash units up to 6 volts, so it's underpowered for this camera, but you don't want to overpower the camera and potentially fry the circuits. So always refer to your manual from your camera or the flash unit itself. Make sure it's compatible and you're not overloading the circuitry. It mainly applies to high-end flash units that you mount into lower-end bodies, so older bodies. Certain reasons why you would use an auto mode instead of TTL is, for example, the Nikon F2 and F1 doesn't have the in-body metering, so you would probably select the auto mode for that. I'm going to mount it. I have the Nikon F501. It's designed for these cameras, and the F03 as well, F301. It does work on the Nikon F50 and F80 as well too. The main reason why I got this flash unit is because the F501 doesn't have the flash, pop-up flash, and it does support the TTL function of the SB-20 and 24. I decided on the SB-24 over the SB-20 because it had better functions and higher output and better controls. It looks nicer as well. The F301 also supports it. The F80 does have a pop-up flash, and it supports the Nikon F50 as well. So let's pop it on the F301 and let's see how it looks. Make sure the lock button is unlocked before you mount it. Make sure it's fully inserted. Twist the lock clockwise to lock it in. Now you've got the flash unit in place. It's angled towards your subject. What do? Well, first thing, the most important thing you have to look at is what is your maximum sync speed to the flash. Now that's often indicated on some cameras, not on all cameras, but on this particular model, the Nikon F301, it will have a maximum sync speed of 125th of a second. It's highlighted in red. So you might notice that there's a particular shutter speed that's in red. That is the minimum shutter speed, or the maximum shutter speed, should I say, you're allowed to use. Otherwise it will not support it. What will happen if you go to 1/500th of a second is that the shutter curtain will open too quick, flash will be too slow, and as a result you will get a banding at the bottom of your photo. It might be like a black bar, or half your photo is partially obscured. What you actually done is captured that shutter curtain. So you want to avoid that. You want to go 125th of a second or slower, and that will be fine. So I always leave it on 125th of a second, and then adjust accordingly. If I can't get the light I want naturally, I tend to lower it down. We're going to fire some test shots in a minute, but you want to look at the aperture first as well. So I'm going to set this at f2.8 for this test shot. Obviously I can go up to f16 on this manual lens. Then you want to go to your flash unit and set it to the actual settings you have. So I've got the ISO film 100, so that's okay. I'll go to the F number stop now. I'm going to change it to f2.8, ISO 100. Using the N selection button, and then when it flashes on the F, you can switch it down to f2.8. The only thing that remains to be changed is the focal length. You need to switch it on to TTL as well, because this camera supports this function. Changing it to 28mm. You can see the bar which tells you at 1.5 to 13 meters. There are several bars up there, and that will change accordingly. So that tells you that between 1.5 meters and 13 meters, this flash is the optimal range you should be in. If obviously you're too close, it's not covered, and if you're too further than 13 meters, the flash may not be adequate for your setting. So you can angle your flash up and down. I like to test out my flash units on a digital camera so I can know where to angle the flash. It's kind of always a risk when you're shooting film. You have no idea if pointing the camera at the subject's face is going to reflect all the light, or it's going to be overexposed. And so you can fire a test shot, but the only way to know is to test it through trial and error, unfortunately. Have a play about with it, because there's no standard. It's a rule of thumb, but every situation is going to be different. Your film speed, how old is your film, is it aged, how they develop it at the lab. So all these factors come into play. What the camera is doing in TTL mode is adjusting the flash power, so you don't have to worry about whether it's in full power, half power, quarter, 1/8, 1/16. So the TTL function sorts that out for you. So in theory you should be able to point this at your subject and it should meter correctly. So what happens when you mount it to a non-native camera body, such as the Fujifilm X-H1? So you've got a Nikon SB-24 flash unit on a Fuji X-H1. The flash still works, but you have to use it in manual mode, because the onboard computer in the Fuji X-H1 won't communicate with the flash unit. So you have to tell the flash unit what settings you require. So we'll switch it both on. I need to put the flash unit into manual mode. You can see I need to adjust the focal length as well. Because this is an APS-C camera body, I have to adjust for the focal length. So a 35mm TT Artisan lens, so I would have to, that's the equivalent of a 50mm focal length, so I've adjusted to 50. Now the aperture I have set on this one is f4, so choose f4, and the ISO at 200, I'll put it at 200. What remains is the flash power, so it's currently set to 101, which is full power. This might be too bright for most situations. You really have to be outdoors in a sunny situation, shooting at a distance, fair distance, and you want to backlit some subject, or you want to fill in some flash, I would use that at full power. But on most situations, if you're shooting indoors, or you would have to go much lower. I would generally start at the lowest power, because I don't want the flash to overwhelm the exposure, and then adjust it accordingly. So now it's giving you a particular range to shoot from. In manual mode, it's telling me 3 meters I should be away, but I'm going to be too close. I'm going to take the shot. It is correct, it is too bright. I'm going to try angle the flash upwards. It's not worked because it's missed the exposure altogether. It's not correct. So it's a little bit more tricky when you're shooting non-TTL and shooting the manual. You have to know your correct settings, where you're pointing the light. So if you're starting to use your flash, I recommend using TTL or auto mode where available. It's best to angle the flash and bounce it off a ceiling if you can, because I generally find that indoors you tend to get more pleasing light. Why you choose an auto over TTL if you have both options? Imagine you have a scenario where you have a wedding party that comes and they're filing in one by one, and you need to use the flash. I would put it in auto. It's more consistent, it saves power, and you roughly know what the lighting conditions are going to be. But if you've got a fast moving object and a constant change of light, use TTL. It's just a lot simpler, uses more power, but you'll definitely get the shot. The unit itself is quite heavy. It's a little bit big as well compared to smaller camera bodies. It does add a little bit of weight, but it's an invaluable tool, especially when you're shooting portraits outside, or you've got an important event and you want to get a good exposure. You've got poor lighting maybe, and I always put it in my camera bag. Have a play about with the settings, because I spent many hours trying to figure out what the correct settings are, what my correct distances should be, and yeah, just have a play about with the flash unit. And it's a bit of a trial and error. Obviously it's a lot easier on a native Nikon digital SR camera body. You can actually just fire the shot and just twist the head unit until you get a desired effect. But obviously when you're shooting on film cameras, which I do most of the time, it tends to be a hit and miss. I tend to only use it when I really can't get the shot. It is a bulky unit when you add it on top of your camera, but it's a lot better than the pop-up flash on the F80 and the in my past usage that it's been terrible. You know, some of the images that come off from a pop-up flash are unusable, totally different from what they should look like from a external flash unit. And so I'm glad some camera companies have removed the pop-up flash. It does look like an amateur camera, but I would only use it if I'm in total darkness and I can't get the shots. That's the only way I would use a pop-up flash. Yeah, the unit, the SB-24 is quite robust. It's good value for money. I spent £30, I believe, off eBay. It's in mint condition. It's compatible with most cameras. I can use it on manual mode. I can use TTL, automatic, strobe setting, and the battery life is fairly good on this unit. It's all you pretty much need if you're not got a studio setup and you just want something quick that you can travel with, and potentially will give you a good output as well. It comes with a good, nice leather case. I don't see many of the leather cases like this now. Genuine leather, and yeah, it feels good and robust. Then going to power it off and take the batteries out if you're not using it for a long period of time. You don't want it leaking in the unit. Highly recommend this unit. This is the Nikon Speedlight SB-24. If you like this video, give it a like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. Catch you all in the next one. Thank you very much. Bye bye.